No, no, I get up. No, 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 I get up. No, no, can't deny it. No, no, I get up. No, 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 I get up.
All right, we're back with another Discover a Thriver. I'm your host, Ethan, and my co-host, Arthur. Tonight we have, well, not tonight, because it's tonight for us, but morning in Barbados. We have the beautiful, very talented, the cultural ambassador, the Queen of Soca, Miss Alison Hinds. How are you doing? Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
I know it's early, so I thank you.
Yes, and I know it's late for you all, so, but y'all have been up for, so long before me.
It's all good.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be a part of your program and your season.
Yeah, well, we're happy to, have you for this first season. Let's, all right, so we're going to start with a fire question. If you had any superpower, what will it be?
A superpower. I think I would want to fly.
Fly?
Yeah. I just like the idea of just like being somewhere and then like somebody pisses you off. And you're like, all right, I'm done with you. So I'm like, I'm off to wherever I feel like going,
That makes sense. That definitely makes sense.
I love that. Yeah, to be able to fly, just go roads and, freak out planes and,
fly with the birds.
Fly high.
Fly with the birds. Absolutely fly with the birds. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, second one. What is the one thing you've always wanted to do?
What's the one thing I've always wanted to do? I've traveled a lot, but I haven't been to like Australia.
Oh yeah.
And
like been to Australia.
What's that?
You have not been to Australia?
No, and like I would like to really like explore the Middle East more.
Yeah.
Like, into not in Middle East, sorry, Asia. So, China, Japan and Hong Kong and like to really kind of see what
the other side of the world, right?
Yeah, because I've been to China, but it was very short trip, so it was very limited in terms of what you can. China is huge.
Especially like this whole area.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Asia, Australia, you need a lot of days to really capitalize on it.
You need a lot of months. You need to be able to say, okay, I'm going to spend 6 months in Asia and Australia and that whole area. So I think that would be because I've never been to Australia at all. So
yeah. Oh, we're gonna make that happen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yay!
Definitely.
So Alison, thank you again for joining us. They call you the Queen of Soca. Can you explain maybe to the listeners who don't know what soca is, what it is actually, what are the instruments and everything you can tell about it?
Okay, so soca music would be considered the cousin of calypso. Okay. Soca is very party oriented. It's very happy music. It's the kind of music that when you hear it, you have to move. You have to, and when I say move, I don't just mean like tap your foot. I mean like you want to get up and dance and wave.
Body move to the groove.
And make your body move to the groove.
Yeah.
Soca is short for music of the Southern Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
And so that's how it became soca. And SOCA, and we use the same instruments that pop are used in pop, R&B, rock. Just that our music tends to have it can have more percussion. It could be more percussive. the beats are very strident, they're very powerful, and the soca rhythm is it's very identifiable.
Boom, 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 boom.
You know, there you go. There you go, Ethan. And it tends to be, as I said, it's very happy music, you know. So it's not music that, it's music that if you're not feeling so great today, that you can put it on. Because I do it all the time. Sometimes, you know, you get in the car because I had that interaction with that person that pissed me off and I couldn't fly away. So I had to get in my car, and I'm feeling like, you know, you're like driving, you know, when you're driving Vex and you're just like, I put on some soca music and, you know, start to move. And when I listen to some more and I hear some songs that I really like, I'm like, okay. And it gets you out of that not so great place and puts.
I definitely agree.
Yeah.
Like, I'm obviously being Trini. Like,
yes.
That's all I love right now.
Oh,
So give me some soca any day. How did you get your start with Square One? Like, how did that happen? And give us a bit of that experience, because that pretty much started your career, correct?
Yes. I actually I met the person that would, one of the people that would become one of my bandmates, which was, Anderson Armstrong. At the time, he was a calypsonian. He was singing calypso. And he was actually one of the youngest calypsonians at the time in Barbados. And so him being young, he attracted a young demographic to calypso. And so I remember seeing him at a couple of performances, and I was a teenager at the time, and I had a little crush on him and stuff too.
So there it is. I was waiting for that.
Actually, one of the fire questions would have been, what was your first celebrity crush? So there we have it.
Oh, look at you blush.
Oh, that's sweet.
I made sure that, like, I was like, I wanted to meet this guy, you know, I wanted to get to know him. And I was very shy, but, you know, I figured out how to, like, start, you know, a conversation kind of thing. And we actually became friends. And one day we were on the phone, and he said, we were talking about singing, and, you know, I said that I love singing and so on. So he said to me, well, Alison, sing something to me over the phone. Let me see if you could really sing. Sing something. Sing anything. I don't care. Just sing something. So I sang Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder over the phone.
Wow.
And he heard it. He heard me. And he was like, yeah, you could really sing. You could sing. And there was a local talent competition at the time. And he actually entered me into the competition.
Wow.
Because I was too shy to do so myself. Like, I would have never done that.
So you were shy?
Extremely so.
Wow.
Like, really shy. I was super, super shy. So he entered me in the competition, and he helped me to choose my songs. He was at rehearsals. Like, he was really key in being that person that pushed me at that time.
Wow.
Yeah. I was so shy.
Yeah.
And I entered the competition, I got into the finals, and I placed third. And the only competition, the only leg that he was not at was at the finals, because he had to travel that weekend. So that was the only one that he wasn't at. But he came to the preliminaries, he came to semis, everything, and he was at all of my rehearsals with me.
Yeah.
And after the competition, he then said to me, listen, we have a band called Square One, and we're looking for a female vocalist. Would you be open to, you know, being a part of the band? And I was like, yes.
Please,
and
yes.
And And at the time, Square One was just a little band, just an unknown little band, but that was part of my dream, to be on stage, to sing, to perform. And I didn't even know how I was gonna do it because I knew how shy I was. I knew that I was like, this is gonna be scary. I'm gonna be out of my comfort zone. Like, what am I doing? But then on the other hand was like, I so love to sing. I love to sing. I love to sing so much, So that love and that passion for singing is really what pushed me. And that is what won out and got me to really push myself past my comfort zone.
Yeah.
And he kept pushing me too, like even after the competition and I got into the band and we were rehearsing, he kept pushing me. He's like, Alison, you could sing.
So I guess having that rock really helped.
Yes. Yeah. And I can absolutely, and I don't even know if I've like really said that to him, like personally, that my mom was there as my support. She always has been. But he was the person that was like, you could do this. And then he helped me to do it. And then he pushed me and he shouted at me and he, it's like, you could sing this song, So I really have to thank Anderson Armstrong for really being.
Well, I think the whole Caribbean community and every soca lover needs to thank him too.
Yes.
Because then we won't have your voice blessing us on, well, now Spotify and the stages.
Yes, it's very true. It's very, very true. Very true.
Quickly tell us the story behind your big hit, Faluma.
One of your big
one of course. I mean, we're talking about the others, but like I know I actually heard you. I'm kind of cheating too because I think at the live that you did with Patrice, you did mention something, and I was like, wow, I did not know about all of this. So can you repeat it?
Faluma is a song that we, as the band Square One, we were going on our first tour to Suriname. And what we would do sometimes is try to find out what is the best, what's the top local songs in that particular market. So that as long as we have the time, we will learn some of it, a verse and chorus or something, because it helps to connect you
with the crowd,
with your audience.
Definitely.
Case in point, when Beyonce went to Trinidad and he pulled out Palance.
I was there.
Trinidad, I was there too. And we absolutely lost our freaking minds. We were like, oh my God, Beyonce is singing Palance and she's doing the dance, and everybody freaked all the way out. But that endeared her to Caribbean people that much more, because she took the time, for whatever reason, or somebody from her team took the time and said, listen, this carnival just finished. This is the most popular song. If you just do the chorus of this song, they will love you even more. And that's what it did. Like after that, she could have sung the entire alphabet and nobody would care. You know what I'm saying? So we understood that. We got that. And so this song was sent to us for Luma. And we listened to it and I was like, what? Like, how am I supposed to sing this song? I don't even know what language this song is. I've never heard this language before. And I don't know anybody that speaks this language. Like, I don't know any Surinamese people. Like, what's going to happen? So what I did, the band dealt with the music side of it. And I remember, like, I would sit in my car and we got a cassette tape, just so you know. Okay. Right. Actually,
That's
no.
cool.
Hold on. Was it a cassette or was it a CD? I can't remember. It was one of the two. It was either a cassette or a CD. It might have been a CD. I'm not sure. But I remember I put it in my car, and I just had to listen to it. Like I just had to listen to the phonetics and get it as close to the original as possible. And we learned the song. We went to Suriname, and we were there for a week. So I was doing interviews leading up to the show. And at each interview, I would sing like a little piece of Faluma. And every time, you know, the interviewers would freak out because they were like, this is a band from the Eastern Caribbean. How is it that they took the time out to learn this song that is extremely local and super popular at the time? And when we performed at the concert that night, which was completely sold out, it was at this huge gymnasium. Concert was sold out, people to the rafters. It was also live on TV. It was live on radio. So it went the entire gamut of Suriname.
Wow, that's amazing.
And we performed the song
the entire song, like verse, chorus, everything.
What's that?
You performed the entire song.
Yes. On the night of the concert, then we performed the whole song. And, you know, the crowd just went into raptures of ecstasy. They just did not know what to do with themselves.
Yeah.
And fun fact, the beginning of Faluma, the recording that y'all hear, all of that is from that night.
Wow.
That's the live recording from that night. So all of that crowd noise is not, you know, it's not a sample.
Yeah.
That is how the crowd was losing their minds.
Wow, I just got goosebumps.
Next time I'm going to listen to this song.
Song. And that's why we felt that we needed to put actually Terry, Mexican, who was the musical director at the time in the band. That's why he felt that part needed to be at the top, because he needed to give people
feel the energy,
feel of what it was when we performed it in Suriname. And when we came back from that tour, and that tour was extremely successful for us. When we came back from that tour, we started performing the song because we were on the club circuit still, so we would perform the song, you know, different places. And we had a fan base, a fan base that would follow us around. And they fell in love with the song. They were like, y'all need to record this song, record it. Because we had no intention of recording the song.
It was supposed to be a one-time thing.
Correct. We only learned it because we were going to Suriname and we wanted to, you know, have that connection. And we brought it back and people were like, we don't know what you're singing, but we love the song. Record it.
Yeah, what language is that?
It's a language called Suriname Tongo. And it isn't spoken by everyone in Suriname because Suriname is Dutch.
Right, yeah.
But they have, you know, all of these different cultures and all of these different languages that are within the country.
Yeah.
So this language is not a language that's spoken by everyone. So it's kind of like an indigenous kind of language.
Gotcha, yeah.
And so
that's
when
cool.
we got back, you know, so many people kept requesting it. And we were recording our album at the time. We then had to like make that decision. We were like, okay, we're in the process of doing our album. Are we going to record this song? And we thought, okay, yeah, let's record it. We flew in the original group that sang it.
Oh yeah, wow, that's cool.
We flew them in from Suriname to make sure that we got everything right, authentically. That the my pronunciation, that everything was right. They also sang some of the background vocals on the song as well. And when we put out the song, and I there's something that Faluma has that just connects
everyone.
It's definitely one of my faves.
And it doesn't matter what language you speak, it doesn't matter where in the world you're from,
you just
there
feel
is
it.
something about that song. We released that song and like it just went, people just was like, we love this song. I would see it. I see up until now, up until today, I perform that.
Especially the intro, like But I think when you hear that intro, it's like, okay, like you feel the energy already coming. And like, I don't know, it's
So
something
spiritual.
it's something with that, like that. Definitely, I'm only getting goosebumps actually. Like, cause I'm hearing this song and we'll probably like I'll have it like in this segment like right now playing a piece of it because I think people really need to hear what we're talking about. And I think once they hear it, like they will understand like the connection that you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
Very special song, very very special song, and we could not have known that it would have gotten as big as it has and lasted and become a classic because there's nowhere in the world that I can perform and not perform for Luma. People would throw things on the stage. They would be like, what is going on? Like, what are you doing? Like, you have to sing for Luma.
Or it could have been that trick where you come up the stage and then you come back on, which I think you've probably done before.
One more song. Song.
Yeah.
Well, like that was a really important moment in your life, right? The whole song, the whole experience with the concert and all that. Like, how did your life change then? Like from being in a band then to being recognized internationally, how does your life change for an upcoming artist like you were?
It was significant because my star was still on the rise at that point in time. And I think we had already had some hits under our belt. We would have had I would have had I, we would have had Kitty Cat from Andy and Plummer.
I remember that one.
Togetherness. There would have been, but Faluma was like a jump.
Yeah.
Faluma was
kickstart.
Faluma was a song that when it came, nobody was expecting it.
Yeah.
And it was so different from everything else out there. And people was like, holy crap, what is this? Like, what is this? And it definitely shot my star that much higher and into other markets. And it really changed, I think, it changed my perspective. I was still in the band at the time, so it also raised the profile of the band overall. And we were touring like crazy, like absolute. It was nuts, the amount of touring that we were doing.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. I loved every second of it. And bear in mind, this was pre-social media.
Yeah.
We were doing all of this and touring to all of these countries. We were in Finland, we were in Brazil, we were all over the Caribbean. I'm sure I've been to every single island in the Caribbean at least once or twice. Wow. We were in North America. We were all over the US. We were in Canada. We were in Europe. We were in England. We were in France, Belgium, Germany. Like, we were all kinds of places. And the fact that we did this and we were able to achieve that kind of popularity without social media.
Yes.
Had we had social media,
yeah.
it would have been a whole different thing.
Ball game,
That would have been, it would have been like levels above. And it was already like ridiculous levels. When we went to Suriname, we had like we were already like mega superstars when we landed in Suriname. And wherever we would go, there would be autograph signings, and there would be, girls would be screaming, and it was like the whole thing. And it was crazy. Trinidad, oh my God, Trinidad was off the chain. It was absolute madness. Like, I was like, what is happening? Like, what is this? So it definitely legitimized us even more. you know, and just cause the star to rise that much higher and to be that much bigger.
On that note, though,
Was
no, I was just gonna probably bleep this out too. I think every time I say bloop, just put the timer so I know what time. Okay. Do you remember or do you know exactly who gave you the title Queen of Soca, or where that came out from initially? And what
Fans.
motivated you to actually like create your own band and move on?
The
The-
fans gave me that title.
Yeah.
That was nothing that, you know, it wasn't a marketing strategy. It
Yeah.
wasn't, you know, anything like that. It was legitimately the fans,
Organically.
because we always pushed the band as just square one.
Yeah.
So as we got more popular, as we got more hits, as I personally got more hits under my belt, people, promoters, the public started to see us as Alison Hinds and Square One.
Right.
And you couldn't get away from that, because that's, even though we had 3 front singers, it was myself, Andy, and Cecil.
Mm.
I guess people saw me as the lead,
Right.
and so we would see flyers and promotions and stuff. Alison Hinds and Square One, Alison Hinds and Square One,
Like Bob Marley and the Wailers, right?
like Bob Marley and the Wailers. There you go.
Yeah.
And at the time too, there were a lot of bands. There were a lot of live bands, like shows and events and fetes were based around live music. It wasn't based around DJs.
Yeah, it wasn't like now.
It was Ronnie McIntosh and Massive Chandelier. It was Tony Prescott and Atlantic. So that's kind of like, you know, what was happening. And we became Alison Hinds and Square One. And because of the consistency, because of how consistent we were putting out hits every year we were putting out at least 3-4 legitimate hits, not just songs that were popular. The title came because, and also I can say that I was the first female soca star.
Yeah, I was now gonna say like how that has been, because like they're not, I mean, you're in a genre of, well, predominant men,
Yes.
and it's like, you know, it's a handful of y'all, like, you know, still carry on. How is that also like mix that in, because that's a big deal. Like right now, I remember having a talk with Destra about it too. Like this, like I remember she was saying like, you know, you'll just have to keep on going because like there's not enough balance between, you know, female and male soca artists. Like how has that experience been, like getting into the industry as a female?
Well, because I was I think because I was the first, and because I wasn't focused on being the first woman. I just loved performing, and I wanted to be able to entertain people to the best of my ability, and that was my main focus. And so I think that's what drove me. What drove me is having that music, making people happy. Every time I touch that stage, people gotta lose their minds. Like, I have to make sure and give them the best. And I think that more than anything is what caused the fans to call me the queen.
Yeah.
Because
well, you're definitely the queen. There's no doubt about that. I mean, even till this day, no one could take that crown, girl.
right. And so that's how that became what it, you know, that's how it happened. It was like all of a sudden, you know, this people started to Queen of Soca, and then it actually then got into media, you know, and into advertising, you know, the Queen of Soca, Alison Hinds, you know. In Trinidad, I was the Bajan queen, you know. So it organically happen.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
Yeah. That's
And
amazing.
I have done my best to live up to the title that was given to me by the fans, because it means a lot to me, because it was given to me by the fans. It wasn't a marketing ploy. It wasn't, you know, a team that got together and said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. Like, it just happened organically. And
it makes the connection.
I mean,
it makes the connection between you and the fans like so much bigger already. By
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone would have questioned it anyway. Like, especially when that happened, you already had, you know, how many hits under your belt and representing the female soca, you know, scene.
What people, and I actually let a young lady know the other day, and what people may not be aware of is Square One had already had about 10 years of experience under our belt before I had my first hit, Ragamuffin. So Ragamuffin was really my first like major like regional hit.
Yeah.
But we were already performing in Barbados. We were on the clubs. We were on the hotel circuit first, and then we were on the club circuit. So we had already been starting to hone our art, getting comfortable on stage, getting accustomed to being in front of audiences, and you know, and learning. So by the time Ragamuffin came along, we were not green. We had experience. We just hadn't traveled, and people just didn't know who we were outside of Barbados. So then it was the natural progression to be like, okay, now we can, when we step out there, we had further learning to do, but we weren't that green that we didn't know anything about, you know, how to perform for an audience.
Do you know the term green?
What?
Do you know what you mean by green?
Yeah.
Okay.
A newbie?
Okay, cool.
Right?
Okay.
There you go.
Cool.
You think you don't know? Huh?
No, I mean, I know. But, you know, it might be, I thought it was a Caribbean slang, you know, so I was just making sure that my Belgian friend here, you know,
Of course.
what I meant.
Make sure that he's in the know. Make sure
We use the same, we also use green.
Okay, all right.
You were talking about you were making hits like every year. How do you go about making hits? How does that come? How does that work? Like, where do you find the creativity from? Like, how does that work?
Well, especially at that time, during my Square One years, I had an amazing songwriter, Terry Mexican. They call him Mexican because he plays pan. Pan is his first instrument. And when he plays pan, he's usually dressed like a Mexican. He has the and the poncho and everything.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's his nickname, Mexican. He's an amazing musician, but he's also a fantastic writer. And he would have written the most songs for me in my career. So he would have written songs like Ay, and when we did any collaborations that I did, he wrote Ragamuffin. He wrote like songs that people have grown up with. He wrote those songs. And because we were young and we were hungry for fame, we were hungry for the, to create.
To create. And
so we were so hyper focused on that because that's all we did. We had gotten rid of, like, the guys had quit their day jobs like early.
This is full time, huh? Oh, right, yeah.
Before we got our first gig properly, like, the guys, like, we had that meeting, like, guys, if we're gonna do this, you can't have day jobs. Like, we have to put everything into this. So we were focused from beginning. We were like, we put in everything into this. This is sink or swim. And we, because of that, because we were so focused, and that's all we had to focus on. We were in tune, like the writers were in tune with what was happening. They were in tune with, going in the fets and seeing what's trending
What's
at that
happening?
point.
Yeah.
What people feeling, was keeping your finger on the pulse of the people and understanding where they are. And that's it. That's really key in being able to create a song that can become a hit. And there's no blueprint for it. There's really no blueprint even, and it doesn't matter the genre. It could be pop, it could be R&B, it could be rock, it could be reggae, it could be dancehall, it could be whatever. There's no blueprint. It is just kind of, it's like a feel and finding a way to be able to connect with what is happening at that time. And since then, since my years with Square One, going forward, Roll It Gal was perfect for the fact that I had just come back on the road after having my daughter, after being away from music for a year. It stepped into my whole woman empowerment, female empowerment thing. It tapped into that perfectly. And every woman, no matter who she was, what background, what part of the world, could identify with that song. It was so timely. So when it came out, it just
Roll It Gal was, that's
amazing.
huge.
And that's actually Faluma is huge for me, but Roll is actually bigger because it charted, on so many different places, and it went on.
It was in the top 100 of the US R&B chart.
Yeah, and in the UK.
In the UK also.
It went on the. It was on like the reggae dancehall chart. It charted all the way to number 1. It was played on mainstream stations all over. That Roll It Gal is, if you're looking at that in Canada, it was huge in Canada, all over Canada. It went everywhere.
Yeah.
So Roll would be my biggest song to date.
No, definitely. You mentioned collaborations. Who was your first main collaborator? And because you've worked with from Shaggy to Marshall and a few out. Who's the next person? I had a whole list. I can't see it right now. But anyway, you had a few.
Richie Spice and
Jackie O.
Yeah.
How did those come about? Who was the first? And also how important is collaboration? And how do you choose which one to jump on?
Actually, my first collaboration that was not a Bajan artist was Bunji Garlin.
Okay.
That was very early in his career. He had actually just come out.
What song was that?
We did 2 collabs. We had a song called In the Mood. Darling, I am in the mood. Feel like making love all night. Yes. Yeah. We had
I can already vibe on that right
now. That was the first one. And then the second one was, if you're ready to get on bad, let me see your flag, let me see your flag. If you're ready to get on bad, let me see your flag.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah. And that was Ready to Get On. And we did those 2 collabs. Those were the only 2 collabs that we ever did. We've never done another one, and we'd be way overdue as far as I'm concerned. And
Bunji, if you're listening, you're overdue for a collab.
Yeah, you're overdue, my friend. So he was the first that would, as I said, would have been a non-Bajan artist.
Right.
Later down was when I actually did a collaboration with Foxy Brown.
Ooh.
I did a collaboration with Foxy Brown when I was still with Square One, actually. It was a song it came out on one of our albums. I don't remember which album it was. But I met her, I'm trying to remember how I met her. I met her somewhere, but I met her in Brooklyn because at the time she was living in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember if it was at an event, a show, something, but I met her and we just kind of clicked, we became friends. And somehow, the collaboration happened, and we did a song. I think she was doing an album at the time, and we ended up doing a track together. So that was one as well. That song, a lot of people wouldn't know because we didn't really, like push it like that.
Yeah.
The song wasn't really pushed like that. But most times when I do a collaboration, it's with somebody that I really want to collab with. Like,
okay.
Doing the collab with Shaggy was, we're friends, and it was so much fun working with him. Like, so much fun.
Yeah, no, he has good energy.
Yeah,
he has good energy.
Loved shit talk. Oh my God, he loved shit talk. Like, he had me laughing all during the recording when we were in the studio. I was like begging him. I was like, Shaggy, please stop talk shit, please.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but like when we first met, because I promoted Shaggy a few times in Dubai, and I remember we had this long conversation, all kind of stuff. He actually remembered meeting my sister in New York and all kind of stuff. Like, he's definitely a character.
Yeah. Now he's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy, like really, really cool, very down to earth. He's really a good guy, like really, really nice. We have a good friendship, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Shaggy.
Yeah, man. And his wife has always been like a really big fan of mine. So that is like, I'm like, Shaggy's wife is a fan of mine. You know? I really Yeah. They're a really sweet couple. They're a really sweet couple. So people that I've done collaborations with is people that I really wanted to do collabs with.
How do you reach out to them? How does that process go?
Usually I just a lot of people I've done collabs with, I already met, and we already have some kind of
connection, something,
some kind of connection.
Yeah.
Or they will reach out to me to do a remix, like with
Kevin Lyttle, I think.
Vegas, when he had Brock It Out, and then I did the remix, the soca remix. A lot of the reggae artists will reach out to me, the Queen of Soca, and be like, well, we want to do a soca remix, so you're the person that we want to do it with. So that always works. That's always fun.
Everybody targeting the Queen.
Yeah, everybody targeting the Queen.
But if you had, since we're talking about collaborations, like if you had to do a collaboration with anyone, dead or alive, or both, who will it be?
Well, I've already, and Taurus knows this already. Taurus Riley, Singy. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually spoke about it. I actually talked to him must have been like a month or so ago, and he's like, yes, he wants to do it, but we have to find the right song. It has to be the right song. It can't just be any old track.
Anyone, yeah. I think Rupi said the same thing. Like in terms of Rupi, he mentioned that same things, like not any collaboration works. Like it needs to be the right song.
Have you already sat together?
What's that?
Have you already sat together?
Have we?
Did you connect already? Did you not connect? Did you already meet up?
No. We've talked about it. But we haven't actually worked on it. Just because, and then of course, COVID came along.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So anything that we do now is going to be remote anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely interested. I am fully interested for sure. So it's gonna happen though. It will.
It's gonna happen.
What about Rihanna?
Yeah.
Are you all friends?
Well, Rihanna,
Yeah.
that's such a, I don't even know. Like, she's surrounded by, so many people, and
Yeah.
that's something that she would have to want to do.
Yeah.
Like, she would have to be the person that spearheads something like that, because her people around her are not gonna be, interested in, that's not their
Well,
concern.
if she's listening to the podcast, of course.
Yeah, if you're listening, Riri, pop princess, please, you're not the queen.
Yeah. Alison, you were honored in New York for your outstanding contribution to the Caribbean culture and community. Can you explain us more about that? Like, just yeah.
It was definitely a great honor to be recognized by New York State for that contribution. It was quite unexpected, but very welcome. When I got that, I was just beaming. I was just very, very excited and very, very humbled by that, because it's a big deal, to be recognized, not only outside of your island but outside of the region. That's something that you can't take for granted. You can't take those things for granted. It's definitely it's hung up on two of them are hung up on my wall. And I have a couple of others that I got as well. So I just feel very humbled and, by these things, to be recognized for what I love to do. I love creating music, and I love that my music makes people happy, and it helps them through, different times in their life. That's an amazing feeling.
I mean, since we're talking about awards, not to cut you, I know for years they've been building this kind of campaign to try and get a category with the Grammys. How do you think, or what do you think we need to do as a culture to kind of really make this happen, and why you think it hasn't as yet?
For me, it comes down to the numbers.
Right.
You have to be selling units. I mean, even for, the whole thing about being a genre on iTunes and all of that. You could sign petitions until whenever. They need to see numbers. They need to see that this is really legitimate in terms of, okay, these artists are consistently, selling units, whether it's streams, whether it is, and then the other thing is that a lot of things are not accessible to us in the Caribbean, like even on YouTube and stuff, in terms of monetizing channels and that kind of stuff. So monetizing your streams. You can't get YouTube music in the Caribbean. You can't, like...
I don't even think Spotify is there either, right?
No, you can't get Spotify.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like, we don't, like... So the Caribbean isn't considered, So because of that, those kind of things are also going to make it more difficult for the Grammys to recognize, soca as a genre. Like, we would have to, our people have to be conscious of buy the music.
Right.
It's 99 cents for a single.
Support the artist.
Or $1.99 or, $5.99 for an entire album. Like, it's not a lot of money. But if if 10,000 people go and buy my single for at 99 cents, it's going to add up, you know. And we as the artists, we can't go to the studio and say, well, you know, just give me a blight and just do this for me for free, you know, record my music and then go to the graphic designer and say, well, just do my artwork for free. And the person that masters the song, just master it for free. And, you know, all of these things, and shoot a video for free and then just put it out there and say like, hey, y'all could just take the music. Because we have to pay for every piece of creating that song.
We live in a free world where nothing is for free, right?
There you go. You understand? So it's like we as the artists, we have to pay for every level, each step that it takes to create our music, to put out those videos, to do marketing. You know, we have to spend money in order to create that music and get it out there. And then the fans need to support in terms of buying the music online. You know, that's how you support somebody. If I know somebody has a business and is my friend, I'm going to come and I'm going to buy stuff in your store.
Yeah, sure.
That is the way that I support you, not by coming in your store and saying, boy, Ethan, boy, this is $15, man. Give me the friends and family.
And that family discount.
Give me the friends and family. Give me a little discount now. You know, it's like, no, if it's $15, I'm going to buy 3 of them, you know.
Yeah, no, I, as a promoter, I get it too. Like,
right.
It's the same thing. It's like, oh, just, you know, put me on the list now. Oh, something. And then you're the one with the big bill, you know. Exactly. No one's paying for the sound and the lights and the talents that you're trying to even pay, or, you know, the venue or whatever the case is. You just want to get in. And yeah, I mean, that's a whole other story.
And so so until you can't have 1 or 2 artists that are selling units out of a whole genre of music, that doesn't legitimize it at all, you know. So it's like, if we have 2-3 artists that are actually they're selling units, but then the rest, you're not seeing that, then there's no real legitimacy to the genre, you know. It's still considered world music. And so it's we still have work to do. We still have work to do. And the other thing too is that there is no soca label. VP Records has been around forever, promoting reggae and dancehall and all of that for years and years, and they're still around. There's no label out there that pushes strictly soca music. And I'm not talking about Trinidad soca or Bajan soca or St. Lucian, or I'm talking about soca in general. Because if you're going to have a label, or you're going to have an entity that is going to push the music, you have to push the music of the region. It cannot be that it only pushes music from one island in particular. It has to be across the board. It has to be all the different types of soca. So it's from bashment to groovy soca to the dennery stuff to everything. Like, it has to encompass all of what soca is and then push that out there. We don't have that either. We don't have that one entity. There's no one place that you can go to anywhere, online or otherwise, to say, I can go and get my soca music, I met my soca fix, and find everything there. We don't have that.
It's coming soon. Coming soon in theaters. No, but the only way is up, right? So,
correct.
I mean, never say never. It might come soon.
Yeah, but like this actually comes from the next question, basically, with regards to culturally, and like the island supporting artists outside of their country? Because I know, like, for example, when you travel, you're representing Barbados as a cultural ambassador. What do you think? Do you think the countries could do a bit more to actually, get the artists to these places to showcase? Because one of the problems as a promoter I normally get um, is because the music is not that known in some countries. Like, for example, in Bali, the people here that will actually know about soca will be very small. So, like, to fly someone like yourself is going to be very costly for not much return to cover it. Do you think islands should look at this as an opportunity more and actually like really try to fund the artists that are representing the country?
Definitely. I mean, this is why we have ministries of culture.
Culture.
This is why we have cultural ministries, that ministry of culture and that minister of culture, whoever that may be in whatever island. For me, that comes squarely under that ministry because
definitely.
It's culture, it's music, it's, even if you say, all right, I'm not just going to send Alison. You want to have Alison, but we're not just going to send Alison. We're going to send a chef with her to give people a taste of what Barbadian food is. We're going to send, I don't know, a limbo dance group or some Moko Jumbies, stilt walkers to add a little flavor to her performance. So the people of Bali will get not only Alison's music and her energy, but there's going to be samples of Bajan food there.
A glimpse into the life, into the world of Barbados.
No, definitely.
You bring a little sample of what Barbados represents, and through that, and the more people that you expose to, and then the ministry then sponsors this whole thing and says, okay, we're gonna make sure that we get everybody there. Because they have the links and they have the connections. You have the connections with the air. This is where also tourism comes in.
Exactly, it's a partnership.
Yeah. So you have the Ministry of Culture. You have, in the case of Barbados, the BTMI, which is the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., right? So they're the ones that have the connections with airlines, with hotels, with, all of that, ground transportation and all of those kinds of things. So that's where the BTMI comes into play. So those two main things, whatever forms they are in the various islands, your tourism board and your Ministry of Culture should be partnering to say, okay, let's make sure and because actually the first time that I went to Ghana, it was through the Ministry of Culture, our National Cultural Foundation. So they partnered up and got me to Ghana to perform for the Ghana Music Awards. So they sponsored the trip. So they organized my tickets, hotel, all of that. And then they had a guy, he kind of is like a consultant. His name is Phil Phillips. And he was the person that he was making like these trips to Ghana and starting to make connections and building relationships and so on. So that when I went, I had the opportunity then to meet with companies for the potential of getting my music into the Ghanaian market. So that's how, so we've done it already. We've done it. We just need to be able to continue it. And the Ministry of Culture does want to build on that trip. So it's going to take that. It's going to take the tourism and culture to come together and say, okay, somebody wants so and so in Hong Kong, but of course that trip from the Caribbean is super expensive.
So we built a tour around it.
What's that?
We built a tour around it, which makes more sense. Yeah.
Exactly. So
you don't go to Hong Kong by itself and come back. You know,
correct.
We go around.
Make it worthwhile.
Worthwhile, yeah.
Let's say you go to Hong Kong, but then you touch some other.
You go Japan. You come
some other
place.
Exactly. Whatever is in that area, in that region, you know, you deal with that, and that way you can make money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can actually make some money, or even if you don't make, you can cover your expenses. You can break even. If you can break even, at least you would not be in the red. You want to be in the black. You want to know, okay, we were able to cover all of our expenses. We got the music out there. We got some beginning exposure. We also got interest for another tour to happen, which is what you want. And then, you know, it makes it that much easier then when you now have maybe a promoter who is local to that place that can now help to facilitate, future tours and future performances.
But do you think the ROI for the ministry, because I had a talk just this week, actually, I was invited. There was a music event with the Ministry of Tourism and Culture and stuff for Bali and Indonesia. So I had this conversation with them, and they're actually open to have some Caribbean exchange. So we're going to discuss that, and I'll discuss that with you also. Stay tuned.
That would be really
but from my experience, because I mean, as you know, like I've been promoting the Caribbean culture for 11 years. Yes. And this has been my battle with my own ministries, not understanding what this is. I remember because before we had you, we had Destra, and Destra was saying also, it's like, this could have been packed if, you know, we did not have to spend money on flights. We could have spent it on marketing, for example, and we could have had a free show and just bring people to hear you all.
Yes,
I've had cases where in Geneva, the guys, and shout out to JC Sam and everyone that's been pushing soca in Switzerland, because of those small events that they try to do, people come in groups now to Trinidad Carnival and to Barbados Carnival and to everywhere because they came to that one event and they heard the music. So that is the ministry's ROI. It's like people now, you know, either one, know the country, if they didn't before, they hear and they feel the energy of the music, and then now they want to come and experience the couple of the carnival. So, I mean, I think that's what they need to look at. Sorry, I get very passionate about this topic.
No, I understand, but I think because Trinidad is not tourism driven, because y'all are a much bigger country than us, a bigger island than us. You have 1 point something million people.
1.4.
Right. We have 250,000 people in Barbados. 260. I think, we have like 260,000 people.
Wow, I did not know that.
No, we're small, but we're powerful and we're mighty.
No, exactly.
And we have Rihanna.
It was your independence recently, right? Wasn't it?
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Happy early Independence Day, Barbados.
Thank you. 54 years of independence.
Woo! Yeah.
I think because y'all have such a large volume of people, they don't think about, okay, but you know, we can actually bring people to our country by doing a cultural exchange, and you know, but Barbados has always been, not always, but I would say more so within the last, with this government and Mia.
She's amazing, by the way.
Who we
She's amazing.
Who we affectionately call Auntie Mia.
Yeah.
She understands and she gets it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she has been able to put Barbados on the map in this time of a pandemic.
By the way, a lot of the digital nomads from Bali, like it's everywhere. The
Welcome
annual,
stamp.
yeah, the
The
1 year passport.
Yeah, the welcome
Like
stamp.
it's brilliant. Like people are like Bali, Barbados.
Yeah. Yeah, no, we've had quite a few people who are already here, on the welcome stamp, that 1 year visa. If you, to work remotely, live in Barbados and work where work remotely from here. There's a couple, I met a couple who are from the UK who are they're retired, their kids are grown and they're like, hey, we can do it.
It's
We can do
Barbados.
it. We're living in Barbados, So that was genius. Absolute
Yeah.
genius. You
Forward
understand?
thinking for sure.
Yeah, and that's what she is. She's progressive and she's forward thinking. And I can actually say that she's my friend, that I know her personally. And I always knew that when, not if, when she became prime minister, that she was going to be a force to be reckoned with. And
Yeah.
she has proved that over and over and over again.
Well, the good thing is we could definitely make Asia and Australia happen.
Yeah, we need
No, because we have already everything lined up, so we'll talk about that later.
That's awesome though, because I believe that within the islands, that their tourism, their marketing, and their culture need to come together and look at what they have to export. I mean,
Exactly.
there are islands that have, who have bananas and cocoa and, Grenada's nutmeg and, all of these different things. Barbados, we had sugar. Sugar is like we don't have a lot. We don't export a lot anymore. Excuse me. Tourism is our main thing now. And so we had to look at ways to be able to, and it has taken a while for the government, I'm talking about the government as a whole over the past, 10, 15 years, to recognize us as entertainers and musicians and how valuable we are to the economy and to Barbados, and that we have value, that it's not just a matter of, oh, she's just going to sing, get a real job. It's like what we do has value. What we do, I can go and perform in some far out place, and that translates into, oh my God, I have to go to Barbados. Whether it's to crop over, whether it's just to go, to be like, oh, this music is amazing, and this, and I need to come and I need to go, and I want to experience. And then when they see pictures of Barbados, they're freaking out. It's like, what? The sea really looks like that? Like the beaches are white and blah blah blah. And that's what it can become.
Like even before we brought you to Dubai, like it took years to actually get it where we actually got enough people to make sense, you know. And like after that experience, that show, like people loved the Caribbean even more. They loved the music. And it's more efficient than putting a poster on a car or a billboard ad. You know, it's like take that marketing and put it in the culture.
Correct.
Because the culture that is what will sell, the island and tourism.
Exactly.
Life. I should run for minister.
You should.
One day.
But I don't want you in politics.
Oh, no. Trust me. I will not.
I don't want you in politics.
You mean the politics, according to what they say, right?
That too.
Yeah.
That too. No,
I always told myself I would just probably keep myself private, make like things happen if I have to, with or without them.
Correct.
you know. But yeah.
Hey, Alison, I have also like for listeners, for beginning, for starting artists, do you have like any advice you could give them if they are just starting? Like you were a shy girl in the beginning, and like there are a lot of people who are still shy and in their comfort zone. They don't know how to express themselves. They don't know how to get up that main stage. So, do you have any advice for them to develop, to grow, to become what they really are meant to be?
One of the things that I would say, first of all, is find your passion. Um,
Mhm.
if music is a passion, if making music is a passion, if singing, if writing, arranging, producing, if you wake up with beats in your head, if you jump up in the middle of your sleep with a song that you just have to write down,
Mhm.
if you have melodies in your head all the time and you just have to get them out, that's when you know it's a passion. That's when you
Mhm.
know that it's a part of you. That passion is going to help to drive you, but you have to put in the work. It's not going to happen by chance. It's not. I always tell people, especially in the Caribbean and specifically in Barbados, what happened to Rihanna does not happen.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't. It just doesn't.
Mhm.
What happened to her to be discovered in Barbados, that doesn't happen. Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that was just like a whew.
Yeah, that happened for however it happened.
Once in a blue moon. So like, when's the
Yeah.
next blue moon?
Exactly. So, don't get caught up in I'm gonna
Hoping.
be, because there's in North America, there's gonna be some 6-year-old that can sing your ass on the table because she's born into it, and that's her reality, especially if you're talking like pop and R&B and that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
Like, there's girls and guys that are a dime a dozen in the US with amazing vocals, and they could just it, and that's a part of who they are. But if music is your passion, you find you get people around you who are not just your friends, but people that
Your
are going to tell
mentors.
you the real deal. People that
Yeah.
are going to tell you the real deal. Seek out mentors. Don't say, well, if you stand in the back and you see somebody that you look up to, step out of your comfort zone and you know and step up to them and
Mhm.
approach them and ask a question. It's maybe they'll be more open than you think. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Mhm.
Um, also, learn the business side of the music business, because that is key.
I was actually
That
gonna ask you that question with regards to
How
like
do you do that?
management
Yeah.
and like the importance of having your team. Because I remember like even dealing with you, like yes, we were friends for how many years, but like when it came to like the business stuff, it was like, okay, Ethan, now start to talk to them.
right.
Was that always a thing for you, like knowing and understanding that, or what? Like, how do you think?
How did you get into the business
Yeah.
part
Yeah.
of music?
That happened during my Square One years. And oh god, my bottle. That happened during my because we had a manager.
Right.
But the difference with Square One was that we were the shareholders in the band.
Mhm.
The manager
Right.
was working for us. The manager did not hire us. We hired the manager.
Right.
And so we had the say at the end of the day when
Mhm.
it came down to, like major business decisions and things like that we want.
Yeah.
We had to sit and have those meetings and say, and then Patrick, who was our manager, he would then go and execute on our behalf.
Right.
And then we would have Andy was the band leader, so it would be him and Patrick that would have to co-sign in order for anything to go forward in terms of releasing a check or making a payment or whatever. So it wasn't down to the manager alone being able to just sign off on checks. He would sign, and Andy would also have to co-sign. So the band was always aware of what was happening with our money and our, with our finances and that kind of stuff. So it is important to have a manager for more than one reason. To also have that buffer, that the manager is the person that's willing to be the bad guy, to be able to deal with all the negotiation and, the shit that he or she may come across, dealing with some promoters, writers and all that kind of stuff. But always relaying back to the artist. Transparency is very important between an artist and a manager. So there should always, you as the artist should be able to say to your manager, all right, I need blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. And the manager should be able to provide blah, 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 blah. Whatever it is, be it financial, be it, whatever it is, you should, and always remember that your manager is working for you and not the other way around. Because that can happen.
Yeah.
Where the manager feels
takes over control.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you as the artist, forever, everything got passed through you. Everything has to pass through you. Mm-hmm. And you make that clear to your management from the beginning. So anything that your manager is doing on your behalf, they have to come to you and say, listen, Alison, we are negotiating with blah, 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 blah. This is what is happening. This is the fee, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. How do you feel about, do you want to do this gig? Are you interested, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah.
You need to have that transparency. It is very, very important that you have that transparency, because otherwise the managers will start to get comfortable, and then, your money starts to get legs and walk in a different direction other than where it's supposed to be, which is in your account.
Yeah.
You need to be spiritually grounded as well in this business, in whatever your spirituality, religion, whatever your comfort zone is, because it's a very fickle business. And it's a business where everybody excited about you this week, and next week they're like, we ain't taking she on because the newest flavor just came up.
Yeah.
And so you need to have that spirituality, something that's gonna ground you and keep you understanding that, okay, maybe I'm not as hot now, but it doesn't mean that doesn't reflect on me as a person. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, let's see what I can do. How else can I shine? What else, keep your creativity about you. Mm-hmm. And again, as I said, have people around you who are not just yes people, who are just there because they want to see what they can get, what the perks are of being around you. Oh, we can get to go backstage, or we can get to, if you're not serving a purpose, you ain't doing no job, you're not helping me. You understand? Even if it is my friend, be helping do something. You understand? I have one of my best friends lives in Trinidad. We have known one another for many, 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 many years. She was my unofficial personal assistant before I had an actual personal assistant. She's my friend. She would come to events with me and be doing all of that stuff. Okay, Alison, you need your water. Let me get your towel. Here's your shoes. That's my friend. That's my friend. That's my ride or die. And she just understood, okay, Alison doesn't have somebody with her right now. So and I didn't have to say anything. You understand? I didn't have to tell her, well, I need you. She would be saying to me, okay, Alison, you have 5 shows tonight. You need me to be with you tonight? And I would be like, yeah, I think that you should come. And she would be there, and she would be riding with me till whenever we get back home, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And
that's how friendship should be, right?
Exactly.
Well, you're right, friend.
If somebody is supporting you, they are supporting you. They're not being a burden on you. They're not coming in and making demands. But so we the dumb, and we the Hennessy, and we this, and why we don't have, and it's like, but you doesn't have on stage.
Any stage? Is your voice they pay for?
You understand? Like, if you want to go up on the stage, I think you need to do this, you know. And people, especially when you are emerging, when you're an emerging artist, you kind of feel like, okay, these are my friends from the neighborhood, and we grew up together, and you know, I want to look after them. Yes, you can do that every now and then, but don't be coming in and you walking up with 10 people, and these 10 people is literally just entourage, limers, just want to be in the place, just want to, you know, as we say, they want floss, you know. It's like, you could bring a couple of friends. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. But, you know, don't feel as though you are beholden to your neighborhood friends. Bring them to places where you think, okay, yeah, I don't mind having them come along on this particular show.
There needs to be mutual respect, right?
Exactly. And absolutely make sure that the people that come with you, that they know how to behave.
Because I've personally seen like a lot of cases where, you know, you have these people that will come and then they don't respect that you're working.
Yeah.
You know, like the talent is working, and you know, they just, you know, do their thing in the green room, and they just don't respect the friend who's the talent and the promoter, and like yeah, I've seen that happen, and it's sad.
It's your name. It's
exactly
your name to get called. It's not any of them. Nobody knows who they are. They're gonna say, boy,
Alison Green Room. You saw Alison Green Room?
You know, Alison came in with these people, and they come and they eat out thing, and they went and somebody walk off with 2 bottles of alcohol and stuff. It's like they're gonna say Alison. They're gonna call my name. They're not gonna say that. You know, they're not gonna say that. So that's how you have to think as an emerging artist. Start to think from now, because you are starting to build a reputation. You are, and you do not want to build the reputation of either not being easy to work with, or being disruptive and having people around you that just make the place miserable. You don't want that, especially if, you know, you're producing good music and, you know, people are really feeling what you're producing. It's like, no, you can't.
Especially on that note, like I'm not gonna call names, but as much as their music is amazing, and yes, tickets will be sold, but because of the history of how they are as artists and their team, and you don't want to work with them regardless. So you're hitting the nail on the head. Yeah.
So there's all of that to consider as an emerging artist. The business of it. Make sure you understand copyright. Make sure you understand intellectual property. If you're a writer, if you're a singer, a singer-songwriter, even if you're just a singer, because you can get performing rights as a singer. Learn about contracts, know what is in your contracts for sure. Know what is in your contracts, and because you also help to create your contract, you should be helping to create your contract. Not just a manager say, oh, well, I drew up a contract and this is what is representing you. It's like, I need to see what is in my contract so that I could tell you, okay, yeah, I like this. I want to add this. Okay, take out that. It needs to be tailored to what you
want.
it
Yeah.
represents you as an artist. Same thing with your writer, your backstage writer, your stage writer. Same thing down to like whatever you want needs to be in your contract. It needs to be in black and white. Do not assume that people are automatically, first of all, most promoters, and I would never say Ethan because that's not my experience with Ethan, but there are a lot of promoters who the first thing want to do is put you in some cheap 2-star hotel. They all vote that because it's money. You understand? It's an expense. But you need to put all of those things in your writer. What your per diem is, what class of hotel you want to be in, your transportation, like all of these things are things that need to be considered, you know, going down the line. When you're new, you want to be treated like a human being. You want to have, okay, you know, a nice space to be in. Just that kind of stuff. Like, these are the things that a lot of new artists don't even think about. It does not cross their mind because they just think about, okay, I have a really great song and I'm going to go on the stage and sing it and I'm going to dress and look pretty and that's it. But there's so much more that goes into you getting to that point.
Yeah, because I think if I'm not mistaken, the writers especially supposed to make you feel good to actually deliver 100% of you.
Correct.
So from the accommodation, like if you were to go to a 2-star hotel, obviously you start bad, you know, mentally. So how can you expect someone to actually go on the stage after sleeping in a bed in a 2-star hotel and actually deliver a good performance, even, you know, what's in the green room or whatever. So yeah, that I think, when do you think what stage in the career do you think an artist should be feeling confident enough to at least have, you know, these things, you know, when they're actually being asked to perform?
It's going to depend on, you know, I guess how your career goes, because some people, okay, you may come out of the gate with a huge hit, but you still have to prove yourself after that.
Yeah, you don't want to be demanding or whatever.
If you get one hit, you know, does not mean that all of a sudden, you know, you have made it. You now have to prove that, okay, this was not a fluke. You're not a one-hit wonder. Like, you're a legitimate artist. And once you have established, and it's going to take a few years for you to like really get to that point where you're like, okay, yeah, now I want to make sure that, you know, certain things are in place. Because obviously as a new artist, as an up and coming artist, you can't ask for, there's stuff that you can't ask for. But you still need to be treated with respect. That part of it doesn't matter whether you are an emerging artist or not. You still need to be treated with respect, and you should still expect certain things from whoever is hiring you to say, well, okay, at least give me these things that I can be comfortable and do my thing.
Okay.
Well, I think you had one last.
Yeah, I had like a question, like, who would you recommend we should have on this show as well?
Who have you had so far?
Well, you're the third. We had Jethro, who is Ed Sheeran's cousin, last week. We're going to have Chantal soon.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so that's going to be fun.
She is such a sweetheart.
Yeah, I know. We met in Dubai also, and, you know, we got to know each other. We have Steve Urchin, Sean Paul's manager. He's coming
I know
at
Steve.
some point.
I know Steve very well.
Yeah, Steve is cool. We have, Tehran later next. Yeah. From Rock City.
Right.
We have a few, like,
upcoming artists as well, too.
Yeah. Like, I think the first season we pretty much have down. Actually, I'm not even sure how many episodes is one season yet. We're just pretty much just going with it. But I'm actually very fortunate that, the network is decent enough that we could get some really good. I'm going to probably try and get like Peter Morgan on board and like a few others.
Maybe
Right,
people
Peter.
you're recommending.
Peter or Gramps.
Yeah.
I'm thinking because you're going across the gamut in terms of the music business, so it's
Yes.
not
Well,
just
it's music,
singers you're
it's
looking at.
music, fashion, it's art, it's film.
Right.
Like this season happened to be more music.
Okay.
So from management to producing, singers.
Right.
Competitors.
What about songwriters? Why not somebody like Pops,
Yeah.
who has written so like huge songs for like Marshall. He's written for me. He's written for like, he would be a good person to interview as a songwriter.
Nice. All right, so we'll make that happen.
That's easy. I will make that connection for you. That's not
Link it.
That's cool.
But Alison, I know you have to start your day. You had any other questions?
The last one.
well.
Oh yes, you have one more question.
It's 11:22. Like my day has started.
I'm sorry. We're sorry for that. We're sorry.
It's okay.
The last one is, we always ask that to our to the people who come up to our podcasts, is if you could address the world in 10 seconds, what would your speech be?
If I could address the world in 10 seconds.
Yes.
Um,
Your life right now.
stay strong, be safe, and we will get through this.
Okay,
Nice.
that's amazing. Thank you very much for
Thank you
for your
very
time.
much. Yes, Ali. And well, definitely we're gonna see you very soon. I'm sure of it. We'll probably start getting some wheels in motion to visit this part of the world.
Okay.
We already have, Japan and Australia, Singapore, and here down. So we can make that happen.
Was it you the
Yeah, I messaged.
there?
Yeah, because I wanted to try and get you to. Well, they've been doing the carnival events in Japan.
Okay.
Yoki, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, so I won't say it.
Right.
They've been doing really good stuff in Japan.
Okay.
So basically, the idea was to kind of link with them, and then there's some contacts in Singapore, so kind of get you there, and then, well, here in Bali. And I have some friends that are doing some Caribbean events in Sydney. So we could do that and then obviously move around.
Right.
So,
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
Let's make life happen.
yeah, no, for sure. Like, ideally, a tour would be great, which is not impossible either. Because if you're coming this side, you might as well stop off in Europe, maybe visit again the UAE, come across, and we'll make life happen. But anyway.
All right. Cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any last words for our thrivers?
What else can I say that hasn't already been said?
That's true.
Thank you for allowing me to be a part of this podcast. I'm still doing my best to thrive throughout this pandemic, but I think that this is the time when you really have to stay positive. Like, this is the time that you
Positivity
have to
is key.
kind of like really bring it out and
Keep thriving.
get a focus, because you can sink into some a little depression and worry and stuff if you let it. And so all of us are going through it. Like, all of us. I've had my times just feeling very concerned about what the future holds. But I have to, I work on it, and I'm like, all right, Alison, no, this is going to get better. It has to get better. There are, things are going to happen. People are working on things all now, so it's like we have to stay strong, and we have to stay positive. And that's what I would put out there to everyone who's listening, because it's key. It is going to be one of the keys to us being able to come out on the other side of this and finally be able to look back on it and understand what we went through, and hopefully we learn something that is going to put us in a better place going forward.
Wow. Yes.
Amazing words.
Thank you very much, Ali.
And
And
thank you for your positive energy. For you have really nice energy. I really like that podcast that we had today. Thank you very much for that.
I love you. Thank you everyone for listening and watching. We are doing our best. And also we have to thank, Ichi and the team at Tropical Nomad for creating this awesome setup for us. Like, we obviously could not have done this without him and Tropical Nomad, so thank you again. But yes, we'll keep in touch and keep thriving.
Yes, we will. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very
so
much, Alison. Enjoy your day. We hope you're gonna stay safe and healthy.
This was fun.
Yeah.
Was it good for you?
Yeah.
Let's take a picture.
Yes.
You wanna take last selfie?
How do we take a picture? We can't take a picture.
Yes.
Let's do it, let's do
Actually,
it.
there's a big screen.
Yeah, there's a big screen. We're gonna count down.
A screenshot.
You cannot see us.
Yeah, we got. Wait, I'm gonna take mine. Otherwise, she won't. Okay, wait. We're gonna take a picture. We're gonna count down from 3. 1, 2, 3.
One more.
One more. Okay, perfect. You look stunning.
Yeah, I need to see that picture, Ethan.
Thank you.
And what's your name?
Arthur. I'm Arthur.
Arthur.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Arthur.
Nice to meet you too. It was really pleasant.
Yes.
Thank you. Enjoy your day.
Bye.
Bye bye.